Hello, my name is Robbins. I am 25 years old and I am a master's student at the University of Phoenix. Currently I am student teaching at Thunder Ridge High School. I used to wrestle at the University of Wyoming and I had a career-ending injury. I was diagnosed with an L4, L5 herniated or bulging disc, which was pinching my sciatic nerve. The treatment that I was offered was cortisone shots for the pain, and they gave me the option of surgery, which I decided to turn down because I was told back surgery is only 30% effective at best, and it wasn't guaranteed. So I decided not to do that and went with the cortisone shots instead, which lasted for 8 months I had 8 months of pain relief and was told not to continue normal activity, to no longer run or do anything high impact, including weightlifting, snowboarding, and several other things that I enjoy to do. They told me to do mild bike riding, no mountain bike riding or anything rigorous. Be careful with sexual activity. Also, be careful with certain postures I held. Don't stand too long. Don't do any heavy lifting. No bending, lifting, or twisting. Don't sit down for too long. And various other limits to my daily routine. Being young, I have a very steady, active lifestyle, which I enjoyed snowboarding, obviously wrestling, rock climbing, mountain biking, hiking, jogging regularly, heavy weightlifting, playing football and various other sports, which they also told me I couldn't do. And I was not able to do any of that at the time. When I came and saw Dr. Groover the first time, my final cortisone shot had worn off, and I was in probably the most pain that I've ever experienced in my life. It was excruciating. I couldn't bend at the waist. I had severely sharp pain shooting down my right leg all the way through my calf, and I also had lost some feeling in my foot and my toes. There was also pretty immense pain, very throbbing and also sharp in the lower back, right at the point of the bulge, which the doctors that I had spoken to had told me once you have disc issues, there's nothing they can do about it. It either goes in on its own or it stays. So they told me there was nothing they could do besides surgery. I had seen probably 8 different chiropractors before I saw Dr. Groover, none of which who really had any significant gain in either my posture or my pain relief. So I was very fortunate to be turned on to Dr. Groover's service. Dr. Groover and his wife Karen were very clinical, very professional, and extremely specific. They sat down, they asked me several questions regarding my pain and my activities, what I could and could not do, and then did a very thorough examination of me, asked me tons of questions that none of the previous 9 or 10 doctors or chiropractors that I had seen had asked me any of. Put me on all kinds of gizmos and gadgets and machines that I had no idea what they did. They also took an x-ray of my entire body, which none of the doctors had done before either. Initially, when I first went to the doctor for my first injury, they put me straight into an MRI. And we're like, yep, there you go, you got a bulging disc, and that's what we're gonna shoot with cortisone, and that's what we're gonna do. Whereas Dr. Groover is like, well, that is a symptom, and we're trying to find the cause. Again, out of 9 or 10 other doctors that I had seen, he was the first one to say that we're looking for the cause of your pain, not just what's the symptom. Dr. Groover was able to point at my x-rays and explain to me what was wrong with me and how he was going to fix me in a way that even I could understand. And then he did. We started the adjustments, and after my first adjustment, I noticed that evening I noticed a 65% decrease in my pain and probably the same percentage in my mobility, bending. The car ride home was much more comfortable. and it didn't agitate my back nearly as much as it had in the past. Within 3 weeks, I was feeling probably 80% better, and then after my sixth or seventh visit, I felt back to 100%, good as new. And so at this point in time, I asked Dr. Groover, what activities am I allowed to do? Because I previously was told I was not allowed to do any of this. At which point he said, with rehab and as long as you feel up to it, you can resume full normal activity, which is great news for me. I was extremely excited, maybe a bit too excited, because I went along my normal activity pain-free, and this carried on for 3 years. I'm now a football coach, a wrestling coach. I'm student teaching, an avid snowboarder, rock climber, wakeboarder. I do cliff jumping, I lift weights, I run regularly, I do yoga, I run long hours, and I feel better than I ever have before. What's interesting about this is Dr. Groover recommended to me 12 upfront visits, as well as about 4 checkup visits a year, so once every 3 months, which I neglected to do. And in between then and now, 3 years later, so that the correction held for about 3 years, so about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, working with kids this summer, I felt my back throw out, not quite sure how it happened, but I came in and my back had slid worse than ever. It was much more severe. Like, even though I wasn't in the same amount of pain as before, my posture was much more severe. I was extremely crooked, and there's just crazy before and after pictures that you can see where my shoulders are slid to the left, even though I'm standing straight up, and my head is still twisted back to the right. This is my 4th week of treatment. After the second injury, and I'm already feeling close to 100% better. There's no pain. I have virtually 100% mobility back, no stiffness. I don't have any stiffness in my shoulders or neck, and I'm generally in a better mood than I was, which with student teaching, I teach from 6:30 in the morning until 3, and then I coach football from 3 until 5, and then I also have class from 6 until 10, and I also have to bartend to pay for all of this because they're making me pay for my job, none of which I would be able to do any of if I didn't come and get corrected. And at the time, I don't have insurance. I'm not insured. So for me, I was thinking, well, can I afford this right now? And the answer that I came up with without any assistance was, I can't afford not to. I have to go see Dr. Groover, otherwise I won't be able to do any of this, and I will never be able to essentially work or do anything that's fun again. I recommend everyone comes and see Dr. Groover. I do, actually, and this is friends and family. I actually have my girlfriend out in the hallway right now checking in to be examined for the first time. There's a varsity player, I guess he's our best offensive lineman, and a varsity coach told him to come see me, and I recommended him to come see Dr. Groover. Any friends, anytime I have them, I hear them complain of muscle stiffness or tightness in the neck, or cramps and pains that they don't really need to deal with. Whether it's big or small, they got to come see them. Massages feel good, but when I'm in alignment, I don't need massages. My neck feels fine, there's no stiffness. My shoulders don't tighten up. I don't have that stress ball up, at the base of my neck or in the bottom of my shoulders. It's just not there. So I would really recommend, anyone, no matter how active or not, if you have any kind of discomfort at all, come see Dr. Groover before it's too late. So I essentially owe my life to him. He saved my life, but if it weren't for Dr. Groover, I would have none. I'd be sitting at home, but not for too long, and then standing at home, but not for too long, and then leaning at home, but not for too long. Essentially laying down at home doing nothing for the rest of my life. So thank you.